everyone, and welcome to the 7th episode of Architectural Books Flip Through. So in this video, I'm going to talk about one of my recent finds in architectural books that I found really interesting, and I loved it so much. This is called Biomimicry in Architecture. And if anyone's interested, I think the new approach in architecture is to be inspired by nature and study how nature, uses its natural elements and, its own structure to create the most efficient designs. And I found this book insanely good in that area or field. So I'd really highly recommend if you're interested in that things, because I feel like a lot of strong concepts in architecture, especially in these days, are like mostly in reference to nature and like how nature builds its own, structures and mechanisms and stuff like that. So I think this is a really good book to flip through. And let's start. So Biomimicry in Architecture. It's a new book. I'm not sure, it's published in 2016, so fairly recent. It has 8 chapters, as you can see. My favorite one is how we can build more efficient structures and how we will manufacture materials. Now, these two are I thought they were very interesting to read, and there's a lot of nice case studies, like recent case studies about how other architects got inspired from these structures and build it in their own designs or in their own way. So this is the introduction. It just talks about, how biomimicry can really be beneficial for the future of architecture and how we can study it more thoroughly and then just integrate it more in our design approaches. So I love the way they wrote the topics in the book, so you feel like you're talking to someone because it just poses a lot of questions, and the style of writing was very not boring, I would say. It's like not a heavy read. Some architectural books, especially the theory, when you read like a paragraph and you're like, I understood literally nothing, and it's just really frustrating because you have to read the paragraph like 4 times and stay really focused, and it can be sometimes annoying to read like analytical dense theory about modern architecture or something like that. But this is really, I don't know, in my opinion, I felt like this was really written very easily understandable and very fluid, and I really like this book, and I really like the case studies it gave. So like we can see here when it was talking about how we can be inspired by trees, and how the way trees, the roots of the trees and the branches, and like how the branches grow, and how we can benefit from it. Also, there's like the planar surfaces and how we can benefit from these. I love the projects that are been referenced in the book, and how they directly correlate with nature, and how they got inspired, and how the structures are built based on the studies they have done with the things that already are in nature. And we have here like shells and domes, bones, skeletons, exoskeletons, what else, like how they studied sea urchins and stuff like that. And I really love even the technical drawings that provided in the book, and how the projects were inspired by it. So I really like how it was very thorough, and it gave like a lot of nice images and case studies, and like this one's very interesting. It's talking about the environmentally influenced self-assembly and how nature like self-assembles, you know, as a responsiveness, what do you call this, mechanism maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I didn't finish reading the whole book, but it's a great read. The only thing that I didn't like in the book is the way the pictures were referenced. So that was a bit annoying when like, okay, so this is, I know I'm nitpicking at this point, but really preferred if the image had its, you know, what do you call this, the tag of the image or what the image is under the image. So basically you just look here and you're like 79, so you have to look down or look somewhere, like what is it? And like see 82, it says down here what is picture 82, and I'm just being annoyingly too detailed, but other than that I thought it was a great read. What else? Like here, how will we manage water? And it's insane. I think if you're like studying architecture and looking for a concept, I feel like this is a perfect book for you to get inspired by having it as a conceptual idea on how your building is gonna, you know, be inspired by nature. I think this is perfect, really. What else? What can biology teach us about light? I love that it raises questions and then answers it through a lot of case studies and, you know, answering these questions basically. So how will we power our buildings? It's a huge topic. It's fairly recent. I mean, it's not that recent, but like I feel like now with the technology we have, we can do more analysis and more studies and you know, understand nature more thoroughly. See, it's not a big book, but I think it's perfect, to be honest, and easily read, especially with the style of writing. And yeah, this is pretty much it. I feel like if I wanted to talk, I would have to explain each each section as well, like how can we get inspired by trees and how we can get inspired by sea urchins and leaves. And I think it's an entire video series on its own. But I mean, the case study, especially like with spiders, there's like this section about how we can study spider webs, and how Frei Otto, like he's a very famous architect, how he just was really inspired to create his tensile structures, or his it's not called tensile structures, it's like suspended what is that thing? It's crazy how I just black out in the most perfect timing. Anyway, so it's a really good book if you're interested in how nature can be studied to influence our architecture in the future. And yeah, it's just it's something I found recently, and I thought it'd be really interesting to share this book flip through. So thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next video.